Hi guys, this is Jake here at Canadian Cutting Edge. Welcome to our channel. Today we're taking a look at a folding knife that I got from a friend. Well, a YouTube friend, one of the viewers of this channel. Oh, Bandit's bumping into the camera stand. One of the viewers and subscribers to this channel sent this knife to me, along with some other things as well. It's like a large Buck 110 in some ways, except for it's a fair bit lighter, and it's got a pocket clip. Reversible right or left, but only in the tip-down orientation. Quite interesting. Nice Bowie style clip here, some jimping on the thumb riser there, so that when you're cutting like this, you can easily grab it. This easily fits extra large plus hand sizes. My hands are large, right on the borderline with extra large. And so if I grab it like this to put my thumb on that jimping, look how much extra space I've got there. Loads of room for this knife in my hand to do a lot of cutting with. Not too heavy. We've got steel bolsters, front and at the back. G10 right here. And backlock knife. The backlock is right at the very back, where a backlock should be. Otherwise, it's a midlock if it's up here, right? Backlock right back there. And that spring has got a very good detent in it. Behaves like a detent, I should say. And lockup is nice and solid. No blade play, side to side. Tiny bit up and down, ever so slight. Very common on backlocks. This is a budget folder. Not like the Buck 110. That's not a budget knife. This is a budget knife at a very good price. $420 stainless steel for the blade. Sharpener's choil right in there. Some people might say that 420 is a little bit too soft. It's not the 420 high carbon that Buck uses. There are advantages to having some softer steel sometimes. The Rockwell hardness is around 52 to 54 on this. One of the advantages of a softer steel is it's going to be easier to sharpen. So if you do use this and you need to sharpen often, well, you will need to sharpen more often, but sometimes you just want a softer steel, depending on what you're cutting, if you're cutting certain things more regularly. And if you want an easy job of sharpening your knife. Another good reason to get a blade with 420 is if you're learning how to sharpen, because it'll go more quickly. It'll start teaching you the skills. It'll start giving you the muscle memory, no matter what style of sharpener that you use. If you do completely hand sharpening on a whetstone, or if you use a system where you're sliding a abrasive pad across, all of them require some muscle memory. They require practice. They require learning. And often a softer steel is good for that, for the learning process. We've got hex screws. Those are Allen keys right there for the pivot, so you can adjust it if you want to, which is a good thing. Very often these sliding backlocks, they've got pins holding everything together, so you can't do anything about it at home. So that's a good thing. The screws for the pocket clip are Torx. So you've got hex and Torx, and you've also got Torx for the G10. Yes, you do. I've got these graduated lenses, so it's different prescription from the middle down, and it slowly changes to different prescriptions. It's supposed to be 3 different prescriptions, and sometimes I just can't see that well. When you get glasses, you're supposed to see better, and yet have to do this sometimes to see better. Those of you who have the same problem know exactly what I mean. On the one side here, you might want to call it a nail nick, because it's only on the one side for deploying the blade if you want to use your nail to grab in there and deploy the blade. You can also just do the old pinch move to deploy the blade. And we've got thumb studs in there, so you can just do the thumb stud method as well. So a number of different ways to deploy the blade on this knife. We've got a hollow grind, Bowie, chamfered edges across the top, or swedges you might want to call them. And this is a fun, big little knife. Big in the length, but not so big in the other dimensions. Stick around for the rest of this review, will you? I've already given you lots of the details about this, and so let me give you the measurements. The cutting edge, 8.8 centimeters, 3.46 inches. The blade length, so handle to tip, 9.59 centimeters, 3.77 inches. The blade thickness is 2.5 millimeters, which is 0.098 inches. The thickness of the edge behind the grind is 0.51 millimeters, and that is 0.02 inches. Slight rounding there, very slight. I do all these measurements myself using vernier calipers because manufacturers' websites and store websites often get measurements wrong. Not only often, usually get the measurements wrong. So fellow reviewer, if you're watching this, don't trust the websites for the measurements. Do your own measuring. Handle length, 12.7 centimeters, 5 inches, almost exactly. The grip area between my fingernails and my pinkies right here is 11.4 centimeters, 4.5 inches. The handle thickness back here, not counting the pocket clip, 1.16 centimeters, which is 0.455 inches, so just under half of an inch thick. And I did it again. I didn't do the conversion into inches. The total length of this knife is 22.25 centimeters. It's right around 8 3/4 inches, something like that. Well, I'll tell you exactly what the measurement in inches is right on the bottom of the screen here, maybe on the top, who knows. The weight of this knife is 160 grams, which is 5.6 ounces. So it's not heavy, for its size, but it's not light either. It's a good weight for this size knife. The price for this, most US prices that I could find have this thing at just under 18 US dollars. 1760 to 1799 is most prices for this knife. So that's not a bad price for a K-bar backlock knife, of this style. Real G10, it's a decent knife. Canadian prices for this, Amazon.ca, that's Canada's Amazon, has it for $31.67. But if you go to Blades Canada, also known as Warriors and Wonders, they have this for $25.99. So that's a budget, classic style folder in the Buck 110 kind of styling cues. And it looks good and feels good. The big difference is you've got a pocket clip instead of needing to put it into a pouch. Yes, I know a lot of you guys are going to say, well, why didn't they put the screw holes here for tip up? Why not? And I totally agree with you. It'd be so easy for them to have made this a 4-way pocket clip. They could have easily done that. Pocket clip coming down this way on either side. I don't understand that either, especially since when you do have pocket clips, it seems to me that most people prefer tip up. At least Western people, English-speaking people, tend to prefer tip up over tip down. I'm one of those exceptions. I don't really care tip up or tip down. It really doesn't make much of an effective difference in how long it takes for me to pull the knife out of my pocket and have it ready in my hand. It's measurable. It's slightly slower doing it in the tip down beginning point, but not so much that it's anything for me to be concerned about. If you just don't like it, hey, that's totally fine. If you just say, I have my reasons for preferring tip up, hey, I totally get that. No problem with me at all. And I'm not trying to disparage that perspective or opinion whatsoever. I'm just telling you what I like. We've got this sort of titanium color coating. I'm not sure if it's a powder coat. I kind of doubt it because of the price point of this, but we've got that titanium style coating all over the knife. It's a kind of smooth finish. The texture on the G10 is fairly grippy. So when you've got it in your hand, you get a really good grip. If you're needing to use this knife, you can grab it way back here and you've got an extra long kind of hold if you need to, you're being attacked by a dog or something worse, something wild. You want more distance between the tip and your hand so you can reach further. And if you need to do some delicate work, you can cinch right up here and get your thumb on that nice fine jimping there and do your cutting that way. Works quite well that way. Let's do some cut tests and show you how well this thing cuts. I have sharpened this myself. Remember, I got it used from another person, so I couldn't tell if it was the factory edge or not. And I'd much rather do cut tests on how well it cuts after I've sharpened it anyways, because, you know, I'm going to sharpen all my knives anyways, and I'm going to use them after I've sharpened them. I don't use factory edges on knives, not for very long at all, you know, just basically for doing some testing. But any knife that I've ever bought for myself in the past, almost immediately after I bought it, I'd use it for a day or so, and even if it wasn't dull yet, I would sharpen it to my own standards. Just because, hey, a knife that's as sharp as I want it is the way I want it, right? And you should too. That is, you should sharpen your knives and sharpen them really well. And see, 420, when it's sharp, it cuts really, really well. That's a push cut, staying in one spot the whole time. Cuts ever so easily. There's 4 strands of paracord right there. And watch this. Just zips right through it with virtually, well, not virtually no effort. Very little effort at all, because my edge is nice and sharp. You can see sort of a mirror edge right there, right? That's thanks to the TS Prof K02 system. Very easy to sharpen your knives to a mirror edge. That's using the base set of sharpening stones that comes with the sharpener. You don't have to buy special sharpening stones to get this really fine edge. You can get that with 1000 grit if you do it right. So a sharp knife, it'll just slide right through anything that you want to cut. And it's certainly good enough to use with some wood. You can cut really, really easily, really well. So there you go. Look at that. It cuts really well. It looks really cool. You've got a really nice sharp point right there. You can get any grip that you want with this kind of knife. Your hand will fit in there, and you know, backwards, back on yourself, you know, fist grip. You're back up with your thumb, cinch up. Pinch grip works really well. You know, this kind of grip here to do some delicate stuff. It's a really cool knife, and I'm really glad that my friend sent this to me. If you're looking for one of these and you like the different features of this, then check the description below the video. There's some links down there, several places in the US where you can get this, and a couple places in Canada where you can get this. If you live elsewhere, just do your own searches for K-Bar, Folding Hunter STR 3189. Yes, I forgot to say earlier, this knife is made in China, and that's one of the reasons why you can get the price so low. Let's see what it looks like in the pocket with this pocket clip, and then we'll be just about done. Okay, you want to carry this in your pocket. Pocket clip works quite well. You've got a little over 1/2 inch of the knife sticking out, not quite 3/4 of an inch. And you've got that sort of dull gray color, so it's not too visible. People aren't going to see it super easily in a pair of blue jeans. But yes, it is there. It's not a high gloss, but it's not a complete matte finish either. And the pocket clip, you can hear it. It's got enough spring in it. It's got enough grip in it that it's staying there just the way it should. And of course, with the tip down that way, it's not going to open up in your pocket and cut you up at all. Budget Bowie folder in the classic style. Thanks for watching. Please like, comment, share, and subscribe. Click on that bell so you'll be notified of every video as they come out. If you've not yet noticed my big giveaway, I've got a big giveaway going on right now. Get yourself over there and signed up ASAP so that you can get in on that giveaway and possibly get yourself a knife worth 100 Canadian dollars. Or there's another one worth about 100 US dollars, a little bit more than that actually. So remember guys, always cut towards your chum, not your thumb.